there, Chris Eubank Jr. telling it how it is. As far as he's concerned, this time he's going to put it right and avenge the loss over Liam Smith when the two do business again on the 17th of June at the AO Arena in Manchester. The man who's put it together is the chief executive of Boxer, Ben Shalom, who joins us live in studio. I don't think you were thanking either myself or Simon when we put it to them. The word charlatan came in, Ben, and Simon has accused Chris of being a charlatan in the past, but Chris, undeterred, came through that interview and it looks lively, looks up for it.
Yeah, I don't think Simon's giving Chris enough credit. To go back into the same arena, the same venue, the same ring, within a few months against the only guy that's ever stopped you in your career. If you speak to ex-fighters when they've been if you speak to ex-fighters when they've been knocked out for the first time, it has a serious impact on them. And for him to take time and work out what went wrong and choose this fight, as much as Simon says he didn't have any other options, he did get a huge offer for another fight.
And he could have flushed his career down the toilet.
And he's decided that
that's good.
Rather than cashing out and checking out, he's decided, you know what, I do take my career seriously. And I want to put this right in a very, very tough fight. And I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be a very, very different fight.
I will say, going into an immediate rematch as an ex-fighter with the demons that he's got to deal with the manner and how conclusive that victory was for Liam Smith, that Eubank's got a lot of demons to overcome going into that. So you have to respect him for that. But
I agree.
I do believe that this time around we will get a different contest. And the reason I asked Chris that question about the weight and his body being drained at the weight, and we could see that, and I still think it had those effects, is because when you get to an older age, when you're taking your body up and down the weight your body doesn't acclimatise back into the natural weight that it should be in time, and we could see that.
We'll also see a different Liam Smith as well, perhaps, because Liam Smith will have been in. He won't assume the same things that will manifest themselves this time round. He'll have learnt lessons, and I think what we've got now,
we've got a different fight.
I think we've got a different fight, and I think my initial reaction to the first fight was, this is done. There's no way back from Eubank in this fight. There's no reason for Liam Smith he should be allowed to come out of this rematch clause, which is primarily for the benefit of Chris Eubank, and go on and pursue a world title. But the more I think about this fight, and the more I think about if Eubank has learnt lessons from this, because he's right, he's never been dropped. He's been hit by heavier, bigger fellas than this. So this fight has resonance, and I think it will be a different fight. I think it will be a barn burner of a fight.
Yeah.
I can't pick it again. I picked Liam Smith last time around because I think that was a little bit of heart and head, and got lucky with the outcome, because not even Liam Smith would have legislated for that. But I think this one could be an absolute barn burner.
So Ben, what do you think? Are we heading for a trilogy?
Look, we'll see. There's no rematch clause in this one. I think it is a bigger fight. The first one, and we're seeing it from the numbers, we're seeing it from the tickets. We went on pre-sale today, we go on general sale tomorrow. The interest is incredible, because I think people can see Eubank Jr.'s career possibly is on the line. And I don't think many people in boxing picked Liam Smith to win, but the bookies didn't, and the mainstream fans did not. They didn't possibly know Liam Smith. They'd not seen him in a box office fight before. Liam Smith just knocked out Chris Eubank Jr., one of the most well-known fighters in this country. And Chris Eubank Jr. now goes back to the scene of the crime to put things right. It really is everything on the line.
With the fight being as conclusive as it was, and the manner that Liam Smith won that fight, why do you feel that? And it's interesting, because you speak to people in and around boxing, or even just the fans, and they still give Eubank more than a chance of winning the return. And you go, well, how would you come to that?
It is crazy. I think I still make Liam Smith the favourite. Chris Eubank Jr. is actually the favourite with a lot of the bookies, which is crazy. But I think we've watched Chris Eubank Jr. for many, many years. We know that wasn't the Eubank Jr. We know that wasn't the physicality and the resilience that we've ever seen before, and therefore you have to just. I think the biggest question mark about this fight is Chris Eubank Jr. going to be back to the one of old? If he is, we've got a hell of a fight. If he's not, that could be the end.
The way I look at it, Ben, it seems to me there's more intrigue about this one than there was first time around.
I agree.
There's a natural rivalry there now. There's a story there now. And I think, as I say, there's so much on the line for both of them. I think Liam Smith, as Simon said, wants to go and fight for a world title and become a 2-time world champion. And Chris Eubank Jr. really does have everything to prove. It's hard to see where he goes unless he can turn this around.
He's still talking about the fact that in his eyes the referee should have behaved differently on the night. What's your take on that? He's not letting that go, Eubank Jr.
I think in fairness to Chris Eubank Jr, he'd not been dropped before, and that's why he sprung back to his feet, and that was a lot of the reason as to why he was so buzzed and to why he couldn't continue, especially get knocked down the second time. But for me, there's no way that could have continued, and that was
the referee. The referee has a duty of care.
There was no way,
and Eubank was totally gone from the first knockdown. He was lucky. He was lucky that actually he even got a chance to go on after that first knockdown, because he was completely gone. He was rooted to the floor. And like I say, the referee does have a duty of care. And if that referee, had let that go on and something terrible would have happened, he would, you know what I mean? They've got to look after the fighters. Chris saying that, come on.
You missed that. What did you say a minute ago?
I said he was lumbering across the ring like Boris Karloff.
Oh, no.
You have to do that.
No, but Simon, what I'm saying is anyone else would have taken a knee and found their surroundings. He jumped up like nothing.
Well, it's ego, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He hadn't been there.
Never been there.
So his natural reaction was to do what he does, which is carry on fighting.
How does Liam Smith feel about this, Ben? Is he anxious to get on with it again?
I think in his mind he was frustrated that there was a rematch clause in the first place. So was I. When we negotiated this contract, we actually...
Was there a rematch clause the other way?
No. Eubank Jr forced a rematch clause into a contract, or his promoters did. And they knew how good Liam Smith was, and we said that at the time. I think now, seeing what this has done to Eubank Jr and seeing where he's at, and it's a different Eubank Jr. It's a more silent Eubank Jr. When we were around him on Tuesday, there's something different in terms of how he's approaching this.
Well, he's going to have to be, isn't he?
Which
he's
makes
got something to prove now.
And tell everyone he can be 60% now, can he?
Yeah.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.